Hi, I'm Alex.
And I'm Mateus.
Welcome to our WorkWell English deep dive video number 6. And WorkWell English, as you might know, is a self-study online course intended for professionals that use English in their work. You can find the course at workwellenglish.com. WorkWell English has videos like this that explain grammatical structures in a real simple way, is full of materials where you can see and listen to vocabulary and the grammar of workplace English in a real way, and has interactive quizzes. So you can get comfortable using it and make sure that you're confident to use the grammar and vocabulary of real workplace situations in your next conversation. Today, Mateus, can you explain what we're going to look at?
Absolutely. So today's topic is modal perfect. So perfect is in the title, which already ties into previous episodes, previous lessons that we've covered on the present perfect and the past perfect, as well as the episode five's discussion on third conditional. So this is a very nice continuation from our conditionals into a more nuanced and complex version of the perfects. So, uh, just like every episode, we're going to watch the video and then Alex and I will discuss any additional topics that we think are important for our students to know about. So, why don't we go ahead and get started? Here we go.
Hello, welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to go over the modal perfect. Modal verbs are extremely important to communicate effectively in any professional environment. And in this lesson, we're going to go over how to use the modals with the perfect tense. Let's get started. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs that are used to express things like possibility, permission, or advice. The most common modal verbs are will, would, can, could, should, must, might, and may. We have already started to look at modals in our previous lessons on conditionals, when we saw that we use will in the first conditional, would in the second conditional, and would have plus past participle in the third conditional. The last one is our first example of modal perfect. Remember, perfect means before. We only use modal perfect for actions that happened before now. Let's start by taking a look at our third conditional sentence. If I had started writing the report yesterday, I would have finished by the deadline. We use the modal perfect would have to indicate the likely outcome of a hypothetical scenario in the past. Let's take a look at some more examples. If he had sent the email on Thursday, we would have replied before the weekend. If we had budgeted for additional costs, we wouldn't have gone into the red. If I had known about the meeting earlier, I would have been better prepared for it. Okay, let's take a look at another modal perfect using the same sentence about writing the report. What if I wanted to answer the question, was it possible to start writing the report yesterday? To express possibility, we use could. If we add perfect, we can express the possibility of an action happening before, as in, yes, I could have started writing the report yesterday. Let's take a look at some more examples. We could have finished the report by Friday, but we had other priorities to finish first. I couldn't have applied for the position because I didn't have the right qualifications. Could he have given us a heads up sooner? Okay, let's take a look at another modal. What if we want to say that we think that something we did was a mistake? Well, we use the modal perfect should have, as in, I should have started writing the report yesterday. The modal perfect should have is used to give opinion or complain about an action happening before. It is the regrets modal. Let's take a look at some examples. He should have told us about the meeting earlier. I shouldn't have sent the email to the client before checking with my boss. Should we have invited the accounting department to the meeting? So far, we have seen how to express the likelihood of an action happening before with would have, the possibility of an action happening before with could have, and our opinion on an action that happened before with should have. We have three more modal perfects to look at: must have, might have, and may have. The modal must has two functions. One of obligation, as in all employees must report any problems they find, and the other is logical deduction, as in there must be something wrong with the website because it won't load. Modal perfect only deals with actions happening before, so we can't use must to indicate obligation because, well, we can't be obligated to do anything before now. With perfect, we can only use must to express a logical deduction of an action happening before. It is the detective or Sherlock Holmes modal. Let's take a look at some examples. He looks very tired. He must have not slept well last night. The meeting must have already started because everyone is in the conference room. Something must have happened to the client because he hasn't shown up yet. The modals might have and may have are also used to express a deduction of an action, but with a certain degree of uncertainty. So we're essentially making a guess. And in this tense, might and may are completely interchangeable. They perform the same function. Let's take a look at some examples. I might have sent the package to the wrong address. Let me check. He may have written the report, but he didn't sign it, so we don't know for sure. The client might have gone to the wrong meeting room. Let me call reception. With modal perfect, we can express likelihood, possibility, opinion, or deduction of any action in the past. Okay, and this has been our look at modal perfect. In the next video, we're going to take a look at the future tense. More specifically, the difference between will and to be going to. I'll see you there.
Okay,
Cool.
okay.
So, a lot to unpack there. I think the first thing that I want to say is once again, understanding the concept of perfect that we started this course explaining, again, is the key to understanding modal perfect. And so many people just learn modal perfect without understanding that have and past participle mean before. So, I mean,
Perfect
it's as
means
easy as
before.
this, like, you should do it. Oh, before? Oh, how do I say before in English? Have and past participle. Okay, you should have done it. And that concept applied again and again and again in English is the backbone of our course. And I think what really sets us apart, and this explains or gives the good explanation in the video. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. It really is. We show every time that we are just building, right, upon one stack of block on top of the other, right? So we
Exactly.
start with perfect equals before, and we can just keep on tacking on new things on
Yes.
top of that. So,
And this
yeah.
modal perfect is just a third conditional, and we just cut off the first half, keep the second half. And again, it's just like you said, it's those building blocks, and that's all it is to English grammar, are these really easy to understand building blocks if we break them down this way. So, a couple of things that I want to talk about here is sometimes when I'm kind of explaining what this means in real terms to my students, I say it like this. Um, Mateos, what did you study in university?
I studied history.
And would or was there a option to study something else besides history? Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, let me rephrase. Would you have liked to study something else?
That's an interesting question. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So would have, in this case, presenting another possibility, right?
Another
Another
possibility.
outcome.
Yeah, exactly. And what's your answer?
No, I think I liked history. I
All right.
wouldn't have studied something else.
Nice. Now, you're a smart person. I'm sure you got good test scores. Was there a possibility to study something else? I mean, if you had wanted to, was there another avenue to take, like a different
Hmm.
option? Oh, actually, let me rephrase.
Okay.
Could you have studied something else?
Yes, I could have studied. I could have chosen another topic or another subject
Possible.
to
Is a
study.
possibility,
There
right?
was a
So you
possibility.
wouldn't
Yes,
have liked to, but you could have because it was possible.
I could have.
And
Yes.
I think I know the answer because you answered this already, but was it a mistake to study history? Oh, actually, let me rephrase. Should you have studied something else?
So should have to indicate either an opinion or even a regret, right? Oh, I shouldn't
Exactly.
have eaten that, chocolate late at night, right? But
Exactly.
I would answer that question. No, I don't think I should have studied anything else. I think I'm comfortable. I think I'm happy with the choices that I made.
Right. So once again, like would have is like a different reality in the past. That could have is the possibility of something happening in the past. Was it possible to do? And should have is your comment about it. Was this a mistake, for example? And it sounds like you chose the right
I
degree
think I
in
did.
university. Um, Another thing here I think is the most common mistake. We talked about it in the video, but the most common mistake must.
Must definitely has, it's probably the one people are least familiar with. I think they can understand should for opinions and could for possibilities, but must and then kind of its cousins, might and may, are the least used with the modal perfect, right? Because, well, we explain in the video, but we say that must is, most often associated with obligation, right? You
Sure,
must do
you must
this,
do
you
that.
must do that,
Hmm.
right?
Sure.
It's an obligation to do it, but it's not the only use, right?
No, not at all. Right? Now, for example, uh, Mateos, did you sleep a lot last night or not very much?
Not very much, I must
So
confess.
I can make a logical deduction about right now. And I can say, oh, so you must be tired,
A little
right?
bit, although I had 2 cups of coffee, so I'm feeling good now.
Oh, okay, great. So, not an obligation. I'm not obliging you to feel tired. I'm just making a deduction, a logical deduction. Turns out I'm wrong, but it's a logical deduction, right? Now,
Very much.
that's in the present. You must feel tired. But look at these dark circles under my eyes today, right? All right. So, logically, can you guess if I slept a lot or a little last night?
I would say you must not have slept well, but probably, yeah. So we can deduce, based on current evidence, things that happened before, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's again just must. Oh, I want to talk about before. Add the perfect. You must have slept or negative. You must not have slept. It's that easy. But it's always
Yeah.
a deduction in the past. In the present, it can be both. You must do that,
hmm
obligation, or you must be tired, deduction. But if
hmm
I'm talking about the past with must, with modal perfect, it's always the deduction. It's never an obligation because I can't give you an obligation for yesterday. That doesn't make any sense. You must do this
Yeah.
yesterday. I can't do that. So you must have slept well, you must have done a good job because I got good feedback, etc. Another example, silly example of this is with may or might. So, Mateos, what did I eat for dinner last night? Do you have any idea?
Hmm. I have no idea, but I can give some options.
Give some
Might have
true
eaten,
guesses. Yeah,
you might have eaten some, maybe some pasta, or you
possibility.
may have eaten some Japanese, maybe some sushi. It might have been some
Sure.
sushi, but
All
without further
guesses.
evidence, it's hard
Right.
to deduce what must have been eaten.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly right. So that may or might is a true guess. We don't have necessarily very good evidence, so we're guessing. Might have eaten sushi, might have eaten spaghetti. But say, for example, I have I don't know, some eggs on my shirt or something. What did I eat for breakfast?
Well, if I can see evidence of the food you ate, then you must have eaten maybe some scrambled eggs. You
It's a
must have eaten scrambled
it's a
eggs,
good guess. Hopefully,
or at
this
least
isn't
an
leftover
omelet.
from dinner yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good example of the difference between must, which is we've got evidence, and may and might, where not necessarily. Um, I want to bring up one thing very quickly before we log out here, which is when native speakers say this, the contraction is so fast. Sometimes it
Mm,
sounds so abbreviated. Can you show us what that sounds like?
yeah. So we talk about so would have, could have, should have, right? Really, sometimes, I mean, most of the times when native speakers speak is going to sound like woulda, coulda, shoulda, or would
Could
have,
have
could
done,
have, should have, right?
should
I
have
could have
done.
gone there. I should have done this, right? It
Yes,
would have been better. It would
yes,
have been better if we had blah blah blah, right? So the woulda,
yeah.
coulda, shoulda really is what you're going to hear, right? Although we write out the contraction, you can also write out, right? Um,
Write
and
out
then musta,
shoulda with like a DA at the end, right? Like at least
no,
not.
no,
You
no,
could do the contraction with a VE. Sure, I should
apostrophe
have, I
ve,
could have.
yeah,
Yeah, but when speaking,
hmm,
it does sound like that.
yeah,
Um, all right, nice. In the upcoming video, we're going to talk about a really common mistake, difficulty, something that often people ignore, which is the difference between futures. But do you think that about does it today for modal perfect?
I think so. I think we're good.
All right. Good to see you again, Mateos. See you next time.
Good to see you. See ya.